What is up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. It's the Morning Vibe live on February 18th in snowy Toronto, snowy and cold Toronto again, though it wasn't a few days ago. My name is Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I host the only online conversation in the world for dads and fathers that is co-sponsored by Dove Men Care and Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. And as part of that team, last year, we reached out to over 100,000 dads and fathers around the world. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And welcome to the stage, the man, the legend. I was going to say myth. I just say man and legend.
Myth in the flesh. Legend in the making. We're working on that. But
Ryan
for those
Knight.
that don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Knight. Yes, and it is a snow day, so you're going to hear the children. Okay. Lovely full house today. But yeah, I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage to figure out what stage their business is in and then help them grow their companies exponentially. I'm also an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights, which provides mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses or their offices, clean their cars.
Not in the snow.
If it's underground, we're still good.
Okay.
But yes, definitely not in the snow and ice. So, but if we're under, we go to people's houses, offices, clean their cars on the spot. And we are hiring. So if you know anybody that's looking for a summer job, please get them in contact with us.
Wonderful. And I'd like to say that today's Morning Vibe is brought to you by the ACBN Legacy Symposium, which is in less than a week. and you can buy tickets at events.acbncanada.com. Are there any tickets left?
Last I checked, we have about 5 tickets left.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
If you want to attend, make sure and get your tickets right now. Yeah, it's going to be. And again, ability to work on your business. So take some time to step back and get some guidance on how to work on your business, whether it's your business model, making sure to fine tune your target market and your value proposition, being confident in your finances, and building your leadership. So building a team around you, because we can't grow on our own. So definitely check it out.
Absolutely. So just right off the top, folks, giveaways as usual. We're giving away $25 Amazon gift card. We're giving away calendar featuring Black businesses, Frequency Event Productions. Thank you so much. Plus, we're giving away a copy of Robert Small's this year's legacy poster. All you need to do is type hashtag the Morning Vibe on whatever platform you're watching, press enter, and you will get into the draw. And I have to, before we get into it, I have to say a wonderful thing happened yesterday. It was a gentleman who I helped with a fatherhood group about 2 years ago. He's now doing work for he's actually director of client delivery for the West End for the city of Toronto. And about 2 or 3 Fridays ago, I had to do a presentation in front of 200 city of Toronto frontline staff. And this gentleman was on, and I hadn't seen him for a while. And we had a follow-up conversation yesterday. He said, "Man, I saw you and Ryan on the LinkedIn. That was good stuff. Fantastic." So want to say thank you for all our supporters, and thank you for sharing the word and spreading the word. Really appreciate it, everybody. So yeah, it was really nice to see. Yeah, I saw you guys on LinkedIn. It was really good. Thank you. You know, keep on doing the great work, et cetera, et cetera. So fantastic. So Ryan, you're everywhere, man.
Hey, and thanks to my mentor being able to work alongside you. It's great to
me?
see.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
you forgot. You see how you forget? And thank you for the invite on Wednesday to speak with the entrepreneurs that are in your program.
And they all had wonderful things to share with you, and they're wanting you back. We'll see if you can fit it into your
we'll
tour.
make it happen.
Yeah, we'll see if we can fit into your what's the word? Tour. The night tour. You know, that'd be the night tour.
Ooh, yes.
KNIJ, the night tour. I like that.
Right.
Good. That's good. That's good. So hope everyone is fine, staying safe. Lots of things going on, a lot of great things going on. And we have now 2 more new friends joining us today. And I'm just going to give the background, and then Ryan can bring it on. So today we have 2 wonderful new friends from YSpace. And as I was sharing with them beforehand, I had heard about YSpace, but I didn't know what it is or what. And so today I'm going to get some education and some knowledge. But just before we get into it, YSpace is York University's innovation hub, creating positive change by fostering a community of innovators, entrepreneurs, and change makers. YSpace is the home to YSpace Digital, a suite of virtual programs to support entrepreneurs from ideation to scale mode, and also YSpace Markham, a physical incubator space located in the York region to support market-ready ventures, and Ella, Ontario's first accelerator focused on supporting women-led product and service-based businesses. So I'm just giving the background, and Ryan's going to do the intro. So here we go, Ryan. It's your time.
Awesome. Let me know if the connection's okay. But I was able to meet David and Olu through the Federal Black Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Program, so ACBN, YSpace, and now the Black Entrepreneurship Alliance that Olu is managing. We are all kind of part of this ecosystem that we're building and really forging to see what the specific strengths are of each organization and then being able to connect them. So I know when the programs initially started, they had like a food entrepreneur type incubators. So I think the second cohorts are starting. So it's going to be interesting to find out where they're at. And again, what is upcoming over their 3-year term with the Ecosystem Fund. So really happy to have David and Olu on.
Where they're at is they're here now.
Yes.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
How are things?
Good.
Well, I'm sure you've done enough of these things, but we're going to make it even better than you're used to. So we're going to have some fun and find out a lot about what you gentlemen do. So before we get into YSpace, can you share with our audience some of your background?
Yeah, for sure.
So my name is David. Currently, I am the Associate Director of Entrepreneurship with York University. So my role really involves working with entrepreneurs and overseeing all the different programs that we have. So thanks so much, Dr. Vi, for that awesome intro of the 3 different suites. So across those 3 suites of Digital, Markham, and Ella, we have about 13 different programs that we deliver all the way through tech, food and beverage, as well as women-supported ventures. And then, of course, most recently, working with Olu and team to develop a suite of programs that's specific for Black entrepreneurs as well. We're really excited about that. And I think the one thing that the main reason we're in Markham, because I think that's always a talking point, is like, why is York and Markham when you're in Keel and Steele? Like, it makes no sense. We have a campus coming in 2023. That is the main reason. We have a campus coming in 2023 that's going to support 4,000 students in the first year. And the idea is that we are there now to really build the grassroots, work with the community, understand what some of the needs are from the corporate level, from the startups, even the residents there, so that we can build that into the campus, because it will be an entrepreneurial focused campus. So we're extremely excited about that. And then a little bit more background on myself, former founder, had my own company coming out of school, and then went and worked at the DMZ, which is Ryerson's incubator, a tech incubator, for about 4 years before joining York about 4 years ago, and building this from the ground up. So when I always joke, when I joined YSpace Markham, it was myself, and now we're a team of 12 with Olu joining and partnering with us. So we're really excited about the growth that we've been able to do, and we're excited to kind of continue that work as well through the Black Entrepreneurship Alliance.
Yeah. And happy Friday, everybody. My name is Olu Villasa. I'm the manager of Black Entrepreneurship Alliance at Black Creek Community Health Center. So we partnered with York University, co-created to deliver Black Entrepreneurship Alliance, or BEA for short, which is a suite of agri-food, tech, and community programs to support Black entrepreneurs and professionals in the Black Creek and Jane Finch community, as well as the broader Southern Ontario area. I'm pretty excited. It's a pretty new initiative. We've never seen this before, especially a comprehensive entrepreneurship program delivered for Jane and Finch local entrepreneurs. So I'm pretty excited for that, from ideation all the way up to scale. We have a myriad of different programs with food, as David mentioned, food for early stage, as well as folks that have want to kind of scale up, as well as some tech. Same thing, early to scale up, and community programs for local entrepreneurs, as well as professionals for business acumen, leadership skill development. So there's a lot of things that's going on right now. I've just hired on. I'm still hiring on more on my team. Yes. So for folks, shameless promotion. I'm looking for a program officer.
Yes.
For food and beverage. So if you know anyone that could support Black food entrepreneurs, please send it my way, or send it through Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight, and I will reach out to you. And again, a little background on me. Urban planner by trade. That is my background with economic development as well. I'm always working in the community in regards to innovative projects, system change, trying to bridge the gap between those that have power and those that don't, and for those to access that. So through capital, through knowledge, through supports, that is what I do. I'm a great advocate for small businesses, especially Black owned and operated businesses, specifically in Little Jamaica. But you'll hear more about that a little later on. But yeah, that is me in a nutshell.
Great stuff. Ryan, first question.
I would love to hear more about the initial cohorts that you had and what came out of that, and not so much like what you learned from it, but what surprised you with the entrepreneurs that you've been able to work with, and how did it go, and what was interesting findings?
Yeah, for sure. So we just graduated our first cohort for product feasibility for the food entrepreneurs. What I learned from them is just the tenacity that they have. It's a 10-week program, so they really went in just on their product. So we really focused on making, or just looking at a product and seeing if it's feasible to go to market. We had a whole variety of different products. Some were dry rubs, seasoning, vegan energy snacks, hot sauces, you name it, across the board. What I found, what was very interesting, is that folks were already selling at that farmers market, but it was surprising. Just Toronto is content rich with resources, but they didn't know how to navigate through those systems, how to get to the next level. And so just through YSpace, just through Black Creek, and just through this program, we help navigate through that process for them. But it's just surprising that in this day and age, we have so much content, but people don't know how to access that content. So that's some of the lessons I've learned. So we're just trying to simplify that for the masses.
David, just piggybacking on what Ola just said, do you find that's a common challenge for many of the entrepreneurs that you're serving?
Yeah, I would say it's across the board, across the industries. There's almost too much content. I think, as great as it is to have content, when you have too much content and there's no centralized hub, and for someone who's just entering, and a lot of the folks that were part of our product feasibility, I think the great way that Olu and team had designed it was that it's not only for folks who want to do it full time. It's for folks who want to say, can I turn this into a business? It's something, we all have little side hobbies and things that we make. I'm sure, Like my mom does it, a bunch of my friends does it. They have these amazing snacks they make and amazing food they make that they hand out every Christmas, every holiday, whatever it is, right? How do you turn it? And for those folks especially, it's scary to make that jump. So when you combine that with all that content and not knowing where to go, and let's be honest, if you're going into this circle, most of the time your friends, your immediate friends at least, are not in the entrepreneurship world. So then there's a fear of telling them as well, because they're like, you're crazy, why are you doing that? Like all these narratives get thrown at you, right? So I think that's the other part of it as well that we're seeing across the board for everyone. It's not the most supportive ecosystem to start with. So for Olu and team to create that and allow for folks to come into a safe space where they can talk to each other, see, oh, you're right here, this is where I was 2 months ago. And that was one of the best parts, was when we had founders in the group say, oh, I actually did this 2 months ago, this is how I did it. And that peer-to-peer and that network, and then creating that community that still lives on, I think that's going to be one thing that helps a lot. We do something that we do just open to everyone in the community, what we call idea consultations, which is we have a form online, you fill it out, you tell us what your business is. Our team will take half an hour, sit down with you and just say, okay, based off your business, if it's product, if it's service, if it's tech, if it's food, here's some resources for you. Because it's easier for us to sit down with you in half an hour and create a little bit of a roadmap than for you to spend the next 7 days trying to find it online, to be completely honest. And it's very little of our time. So that's something that we do that we're happy to continue to do for anyone who just reaches and say, I have this idea. Like, we got an idea for a stroller the other day, and I've never worked with a stroller, but I'm sure within our team, we can be like, here's a couple of people that we think can help. And then that just creates a ripple effect for them.
Yeah, and I love that. And a lot of times entrepreneurs that we work with, they just don't know what the next step is. They have the full vision, they have like the idea, the inspiration, they can do the work. But then when you're able to just say, hey, did you go here next? Yes, Christian? Want to see what everybody's doing? Okay, go finish your cooking.
I love it.
The next generation YSpace.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, entrepreneurship, I want to be in that conversation. But yeah, finding the next step for I know. The next step for entrepreneurs is so key. So glad you're able to really do that. Sit down with them. Love that.
I want to ask both of you, when you first landed at YSpace, what was the first little few months like? I know, David, you've been around for a little bit longer than Olu, but I'd like to get, for both of you, your first initial moments or weeks or months in the YSpace experience.
So Olu, I'll let you speak to the BA side, because I know you kind of jumped on where we're going. Yeah. So specific to YSpace, I'll tell you, like 4 years ago when I started, the funny thing was being in Markham, I think a lot of us know of the hubs downtown. I think that's the best way to describe it, right? We know all the hubs downtown, the Mars, the DMZ, the CSIs, like you can name it, and they're all acronyms and everyone knows exactly what they are. When you say, can you tell me a hub that's north of the 401 or north of Steeles, I think that's where the gap exists. And everyone's like, there's a hub, there's something there, there's entrepreneurs. So we kind of said, I think we can build one. So to be completely honest, our leadership got the space because we had Markham, and they're like, okay, great, we're going to hire someone to figure it out, but we don't know if they're going to come, who's going to be there. So I took the first probably 4 months, I locked the doors and I just started planning. I'm like, who can we do and what can we do? Because if we can open the floodgates and try to get people in, and I'll be honest, I wasn't getting people in. So the first couple months was me calling my network and be like, hey, I'm opening a space in this area. Do you have entrepreneurs in this area that's looking for free space? I will give them 3 months of free space to come in so we can work with them, coach them, and then we're recruiting mentors and all that. And luckily, through that, we got a good group of 10 in the first couple months, and then that just kind of grew from word of mouth. And I think what I always say is, when we're in this space, we're a service business. At the end of the day, it's customer service. It's making sure it's service excellence, and that we're putting the entrepreneurs at the core of everything that we do. How do we help them? How do we help them sustain? And how do we help them gain confidence? I think that's one of the biggest things as well. It's when they're coming in, like Ryan said, a lot of times they know what the next steps are, but they're scared to make the move because they haven't done it, or they're scared of what the consequences could be. So having a mentor or someone for them to talk it out, who potentially has gone down that path, helps them just say, okay, this is the right path. And even if it's not, sometimes it's okay, because there's going to be learnings, but how do we help them recoup from that? How do we regain that confidence? And I think that's what a lot of times that's what we're seeing there. That's really important for them. And then you quickly start to see some of the gaps. Like for us, my background is all in tech. I have no business in food. You ask anyone, I should not be in food. I love to eat, and I always joke with people, I started a food program so I can eat more. That's the only reason I did it. But the real reason was we found a gap in the market where there was no one helping these food companies understand how to get to market, how to scale. So we said, we think we can do it. Let's do it. And I was lucky enough to find an amazing partner in crime, and Judy, and we work with and I work with Judy. She's been our entrepreneur in residence. She's been our advisor. She has 20 plus years in the industry in food. She's a former VP at Nielsen, Mondelez. So she has the whole gamut, right? So she came on, and I think the number one thing is she cares, and I think that's what we keep saying. She cares for the people. It's not the titles and knowledge. She cares, and she actually wants to see how do I help them improve. And I think that has helped us create a program that's been something that's at the anchor of what we do. And now working with Olu and team, I think we've been able to translate some of those things. So the first couple of months was a lot of trial and error, but just I think figuring out how do we service our people the best, and how do we build that ecosystem and our own internal ecosystem of mentors and networks and resources that can help them. So that was our first couple months at YSpace. But I know, Olu, your experience was a little bit different jumping into BA, because we had a launch by the time you came in.
Yeah. My difference is, my experience is very different from David, especially I got hired on during the pandemic. So I didn't see the space until like just a couple months ago. So it's very different. And I think for me, this will touch on what David said. A lot of the hubs were centralized downtown, and a lot of things when it comes to equitable access is location. So in the Northwest Toronto, there is not a lot of that, right? In terms of entrepreneurship supports or where to go to. So with BEA, it presents a very unique opportunity for folks. So I'm really excited for that. But my experience at YSpace has been really, really great. When I went there, no one was there, obviously due to the pandemic, but the resources that they have, the physical capabilities that they have, it's amazing, especially for entrepreneurs, right? And it's worth the travel. So yeah, that's good.
Are you able to go a bit deeper into the offerings of YSpace? Because I have never been, so I need to book a tour to go check it out. But yeah, like what can entrepreneurs expect when they connect?
Yeah, so we have an 11,000 square foot physical space in Markham where there's meeting rooms, board rooms. When pandemic is over, we have a couple phone booths that you can make private calls in. And then there's hot desking, so you can have virtual memberships where you can hot desk, so you're only coming in once or twice a week, or you can have full dedicated desk for your teams to come in and work out of. So it becomes really like that collaboration office space. What we're seeing coming out of the pandemic is that the smaller teams of like 1 to 5 would usually stick to a hot desk where they'll just drop in, but the larger teams of like 5 to 15 are requiring 3 to 5 desks, and they're getting their departments to come in at one at a time and utilize it so they can do brainstorming sessions, planning sessions, and strategy sessions. All of our meeting rooms have we've painted all the walls we whiteboard, so you draw right on those. It's great for brainstorming, I think.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so there's that. And then for entrepreneurs specifically, we have a variety of programs. I would say our program and services page is the best way, because it really ranges depending on the type of company you have. And if you don't know, I always say just reach out to us. We can give you a quick initial assessment of, okay, these are the 3 programs that you should apply to, or if it's not a fit, we'll tell you right off the bat. But I think one of our more staple ones, it's our accelerators that are happening. So selfless promotion. We have our tech accelerator that's happening right now for tech-enabled companies that are in innovative techs that are market ready. So they're looking to provide their solutions to different organizations. They're ready to sell. So some past ones that we've had are anywhere from a financial tool for investors to simplifying supply chains using AI, things like that. And the prize of that, in terms of the end of the 4-month accelerator, is there's $30,000 up for grabs, where people pitch in front of a room of investors. So there's an opportunity to get some money out of that as well, and that funding is provided from York University. So that's on the tech front. And then we also are right now promoting our program with the Black Entrepreneurship Alliance team to recruit for 10 Black entrepreneurs in the food and beverage space on consumer packaged goods. And our requirement is really, these are for folks that are they finished the farmers market. They're done with the mom and pops. They're in maybe about 10, 15 stores of mom and pops. Now it's about, how do I go from mom and pop to mass retail? How do I get into the Sobeys, the Loblaws, the Whole Foods, and how do I work with distributors? How do I do my margins? And so all those type of things is what our 5-month accelerator on the food and beverage side will cover. So we're recruiting right now, and both of those programs are free, completely free, equity free, cost free.
Gotcha.
And you'll get mentorship, weekly workshops, you'll get peer-to-peer circles. So you'll get a whole gamut of things. It's a packed couple of weeks, but both of them end with a showcase day where you're either pitching in front of investors, retailers, distributors. It's all the partners you basically want in a room. We bring them all together for you at the end of those events.
There you go. So we just have up on the screen, when you go to the website, that is the front page of what it looks like. So if it looks like this, you're at the right space.
Yes.
Ryan, continue.
Well, and then I was curious with because now YSpace is an extension of York. Do you know if they're planning to have satellites further in the GTA, like other different places, or is this kind of?
If I can talk to that. All I can say is we will have another satellite this year. We're in the works, and we're gonna probably announce something at Collision in June. We're really excited about that, so we'll probably have our secondary space there. The ultimate goal is to have multiple sites. The ultimate goal is for us, I'll be completely honest, I think right now we've done a good job of it, and I think we are well known within York region. We want to continue to be well known within York region because of the campus and everything we've built. Then the ultimate goal is to spread some of our programming nationally.
Gotcha.
Through our food and our tech, we've had folks reach out to, like last year. We've had international organizations. So we worked with we did a soft landing program with Korea. We did a soft landing program with Chile. We've had a couple more countries reach out now. We've had companies come from Vancouver, Montreal, Ottawa. So we're seeing the spread, and I think physically we want a couple more sites in York region because it creates access points for folks to access the same resources but have different locations. And ultimately we want to go beyond York region. But right now it seems like that's the ultimate interest. Just given where the campus is and some of the focuses of the university. I think, one thing we always joke about is we're at York University, we're in Kiel, we have no space. How do we get a space? And how do we maybe have it offsite? Does it have to be on campus, or can it be offsite? Like we actually have a site called the York TD Community Engagement Center that's funded by TD with York University in Yorkgate Mall. That's right across the hall from Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Is at a site. So I think we're trying to think through where are the best access points for people and how to create that. Because I think traditionally the thought is we need to create it so where it's better for talent, better for people to hire and talent want to come to, hence downtown, subway lines, things like that. But how can we flip it and create it more as, how do we create better access from a local point of view? How do we make it accessible for folks so that it's not about talent, but more about how do we just help them as a whole? So how do we flip the script a little bit? I think that's going to be our thought process in terms of expansion, is how do we focus on access versus talent? Because talent will come if you build a great program, is the way that we believe in. You build a great company. So we will have some, and we'll announce it as we can. But
sure, announce it here. Come back and announce it.
I would get in big trouble by my administrator and our partners. All right. And Olu knows because he knows a little bit. But in June, we'll for sure share with everyone. But there will be something at Collision that we'll be announcing.
I just want to have you share about the work you're doing with the Black Creek Community Health Center. Would like to know more about that.
Oh, that's all you.
For sure. So as I said before, we have 6 programs that we've launched or we're going to be launching. So we launched about 3, and we're going to be launching the next 3 very, very soon. As I said before, product feasibility is 1, is for food and beverage. Early stage folks trying to, from that farmers market level, trying to get a little bit higher. And then we have the food accelerator that David mentioned, folks that want to scale up their operations, get new distribution channels, that type of stuff. And then we have on the tech side, the venture catalyst program. So we're working with YSpace very closely. We have a BEA cohort. We have about 10 Black tech entrepreneurs trying to figure out their MVP, their minimum viable product, with YSpace, so that's really, really good. And then we have an investment bootcamp, which really focuses on access to capital. So walking through folks through that fundraising process, how to get investments, as well as the second part is bringing in investors, but also teaching them about anti-racism, anti-bias. So when we do have our demo day, that's what it concludes to, that they understand, just understand a little bit better where Black founders are coming from. And then we have another one, which is our Business and Leadership Essentials Certificate program, where we're giving out micro-credentials to Black founders as well as Black professionals for their business acumen and leadership skills. So we partnered with Schulich Executive Education Center.
Okay.
It's really good. We have about 20, it's a split between 10 entrepreneurs, 10 entrepreneurs working towards that for about 2 months. I'm a guinea pig, a part of that program. So as of right now, I'm going to shout out Michelle, our program lead. She's really good. And as well as we have community programs. We really want to, as David mentioned, those access points really touch local entrepreneurs interested in entrepreneurship, don't know where to go, connecting with those mom and pops that want to digitize their business, because there is those barriers when it comes to those mom and pop shops. They don't really know how to go in terms of maybe figuring out their leaseholds, figuring out what tools to use to just make their business a little bit more efficient. So we have those community programs launching. I'm really excited because I want to take BEA in a very innovative direction. So I really want to tackle research. I want to tackle policy within those 3 years that I have. So yeah,
well, let's make sure that 3 years, let's have the 3 years become 30 years. Okay.
Agreed.
Right.
And
just
I'm
sponsors.
Oh yeah, just go ahead. Cause I was going to dig into that word community.
There are there are comments here. So some comments here from the audience. Derek saying everyone in YSpace Food Bev program super supportive and genuinely rude. It sounds like you know this person. Do you know this person?
He was in our first
Okay, all right, good. Derek.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Derek has a food business. He didn't tell me that. I gotta reach out to him.
Yeah.
He has a food business, and he's also part of the Business and Leadership program as well.
Excellent.
Right.
Yes.
There you go.
Love that.
Suggestion on a location, Durham region.
No, listen, Peel region first, Brampton first. If you're going outside of York,
the fight is already on.
Janet gonna steal our white space.
Okay, Christopher saying love the acronym MVP. And just saying, I appreciate these young men, smart and ambitiously helping the community. And question here is that the YEDI program?
Yeti.
Yeah.
Yeti. So I can speak to that. Yeti is a different program. It's the York Entrepreneurship Development Institute. So that's separately, privately run. They do partner with our Schulich Executive Education in the past. I don't know if they currently do, but it's a private, separate organization that has partnered with departments of York in the past, but it's totally separate from YSpace, from BEA, totally separate program.
Okay. Ryan, you were going to ask Olu a question, so we'll come back to it now.
Yeah, because I mean, when we hear community program, and of course, we're talking about the Jane and Finch community, and we know there are so many programs, organizations. Two questions come to mind. And I don't want to ask what makes it different, because I actually don't feel like that's a fair question. It's more, what is a success to you? Like, you're going to start this program. Now, people are going to, of course, flow through, but be anxious, or not anxious, but be kind of standoffish to say, hey, I've seen these types of programs pop up before. And then, like you mentioned, it might only be for a year or 3 years, and then it fizzles away. So what's going to be your approach to make one person more confident in it, and then for it to be long lasting?
Yeah, for sure. Great question. I think for me, it's all about longevity, and also focusing on the whole span of a program, because people only focus on the start and end, but not like post-program supports. And so for me, it's all about creating a community or our internal ecosystem with our programs, which we already have the framework for. So how I see those community programs is that those are feeder programs to get connected to our more intensive programs, and then get connected to YSpace, the greater YSpace community. Gotcha. So for me, it's all about cross-pollination. So I'm not going to just drop you off by the end of that program. I'm going to cross-pollinate you to different programs, just like Derek, right? He started in product feasibility. He's now in business and leadership, and then he's probably going to be connected to the Accelerator, right? It's a trajectory that I'm really focused on because I come from a very like nonprofit, program heavy. We always talk about like start, end it, and that's it, and we forget about people, right? And as well, for me is I'm so focused on community and culture, creating a culture, right? So I want to create a culture of excellence, a culture of entrepreneurship that anybody can fully participate in and not find any barriers. So that's what me and my team, with the help of David, we're really cooking in the lab, how to create that culture within, or the culture is already there in Jane and Finch, but just enhance it. So there's a lot of programs in Jane and Finch. So I've already connected with a few folks. I don't want to duplicate. I want to enhance and connect. So it's all about leveraging partnerships. And
there's something interesting I find when I talk to Black leaders. I always feel like they're holding back. And I don't want to say like, hey, what is that vision that is percolating in your head? And I only ask because I do feel like we have the resources and reach to actually make that vision a reality. So what is that? Yes, what is that big vision?
That's a $1 million question. I think about it all the time. I'm all about, and we touched about it, it's space, right? Because you can do so many things, but what really dictates you being there and being an anchor in the community is that location, is that space. So for me, I really want to create, and people say hub a lot, and people don't really understand the like what is a hub, what a hub is. For me, I want to create, because right now Jane Finch is going through a community development plan. Changes. There's a lot of displacement. So I want to create an anchor institution or like a big campus that is dedicated towards not only entrepreneurship, but just professional development and Black thought, right? Of the Black person. Because it's comprehensive. It's not just one or the other. I want to get everything, because Black Community Health Center, we don't focus on one aspect. We focus on the whole comprehensive aspect of a person when it comes to their health.
All right.
Yeah, love that.
For frequency event promotions, we are familiar with the YSpace via 6 initiative. Keep up the brand work, David and Olu.
Solid.
Very, very nice. Also want to get some information about the Black Entrepreneur Alliance.
You want to get more info? So great. So if you go on Black Creek Community Health Center, we have a tab that says Black Entrepreneurship Alliance, but also we're going to create our own standalone website that's coming down the pipelines. And so that should be up hopefully by March, April. But that will have a full detailed description of all of our services, our perks that we're trying to really attain, as well as our partnerships. So I'm excited for that, and watch out for that standalone website.
I want to come back to David, and then Olu, you can also add on to this. How has good and not so good the past 2 years impacted Black entrepreneurs from your lens?
Yeah, I think the not so good part is not only access, but financially. I think, it's been a hit on everyone, but I think I would say specifically as well for a lot of women, Black women entrepreneurs. I think and we're seeing it in the stats, we're seeing it in everything else. Those are the largest to be displaced. Those are the largest to kind of want to make a shift. So I think the bad is financially. I think everyone's kind of taking a big hit, whether it's a loss of job, whether it's increased cost and cost of living and things like that. I think the other thing as well, we were hearing that, I don't think, us in this room, we might not think about it immediately, but when we were talking to a lot of our women founders, was that they're like, the expectations in society is that women keep up the house. So when all the kids were home, they went from, you going out and you're going to have your deal with your own lunch time and things like that, and you're going to pick up the kids. Now the expectation, even though it was never said, is they're making your lunch for you. They're doing this. So that put a lot of stress. And even though it was not said to them as, the wife, they were like, that put a lot of stress on them. So I think those are things that we started seeing. There was just these unforeseen circumstances that made them feel a lot more stress. And I think we're seeing that, and that caused a lot more, I would say, there's burnouts. We all have burnouts, but it caused our burnouts to be much quicker. So the need for support support and things like that, we found that just the support of peer-to-peer and things like that was much more needed. I think the good part of it was it allowed a lot of us to adapt. What we saw was a lot of, I'll speak a little bit more broadly, to be completely honest, just around overall, and I'll let Olu dive into kind of specifically for Black entrepreneurs with better experience. But overall, broadly, what we've seen, and I think this applies as well, is the good part is a lot of folks who were thinking about something is now testing because they just have so much time, or they're starting to learn. And I think that is something that we're seeing that is exciting. They want to learn a new skill, or they want to try something different because they have the time now. There's an opportunity for whatever reason it is, that's worth it. And I think, as program providers, selfishly, it created a whole new opportunity for us to figure out how do we service them and how do we support them. Because I think in the past, it was always just helping them wherever we can. And I think the other part of it is access. Like, if 2 years ago, if you were told me we were going to be helping companies internationally, our first product feasibility cohort, we had folks out in London. Like, I would have said, there's no way they're traveling in, because our first couple of years, people were traveling in. Like, we had someone in one of our programs come from Collingwood every week. She's driving an hour and a half in and out every week, right? So would we be able to do that? No, but because of the virtual setting that the pandemic has caused, it's allowed us to do that in the comfort of their homes, and it's allowed for greater access. And some of them were amazing entrepreneurs that we would have wanted to help, but if the pandemic hadn't happened, we would have been able to support. So I think the great thing about it is access. I mean, it's not access for those that can and able to. That is the great thing about the pandemic, I think. But those are the two things that I would say. But Olu, I know you probably have something more specific in terms of for Black entrepreneurs and what you've seen.
Yeah, for sure. And I think those were like the great things is that technology. It's like that travel is like cut in half. Like, you don't actually cut it. It's not even on the table, right? And as well as on the good part for Black entrepreneurs, it's just there's more programs to support and a little bit more access. I think for me, the challenge in those 2 years, I would say the access is there, but there's a lot more work that needs to be done. There's a lot of superficial, topical stuff, but not really getting down to the nitty gritty. So there's a lot of programs and there's many initiatives to start a business, but for like right now, I haven't seen something to maintain it over a long run in terms of accessing different tools to grow your business. So for me, my biggest thing is social procurement. So yes, we made some headway on it, but there's still some stuff that needs to be done. Social procurement is literally contracts that public institutions may have between 3,000 to 3,000 plus that businesses can use to grow their business, right? So when it comes to Black businesses, they don't really know what that is, right? And in terms of social procurement, in terms of export international trade to grow their business. So yes, we come a far way in terms of knowledge, but we still have a lot more to go in terms of that. And as well as that digital divide, right? For Black entrepreneurs, I'm specifically for the older generation, the mom and pop shops, in terms of how to incorporate digital tools just to make your business more efficient. We've seen a lot of that in Little Jamaica in terms of they don't have any websites. They don't have e-commerce. They don't really know what it is, right? So again, it's great. Those 2 years, we have a lot of knowledge, a lot of programs, but again, there's specific things that still needs to be worked on to grow your business. And as well as that youth population is understanding that or identifying that entrepreneurship is an alternative career pathway. A lot of youth don't know that, right? So it's just getting just a little bit more knowledge and as well as specifically more knowledge and packaging in a way that it's simplified for folks, because people don't really know that, right? Because there's a lot of terminology in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. How do you simplify that? How do you make that into layman's terms so everybody can participate and everybody can understand? So those are the few things that I've seen. So far, obviously, there's access to capital and interactions with traditional institutions. That will always be there, but those 2 years, it got a little better, but there's still a lot more that needs to be done.
All right, the comments are flying in, so they're just coming in fast and furious. So let me get to some of them and some questions. So Derek's saying, my hypothesis, the succession of program participation from the incubator to the leadership and beyond enables investment readiness and hopefully sustainable access as an entrepreneur. Got a question here from Ange. For you, Olu, you mentioned the whole person. Is that also financial health?
Yes. Financial health is a big thing because I used to work for Toronto Community Housing. And so one of the biggest, there was a lot of folks that wanted to get into entrepreneurship, but the barrier was financial health, right? So in terms of, so we had a lot of people in our programs, but they were focusing on their rent and they couldn't really invest in their business or that entrepreneurship pursuit. So for me, it's just like, can we meet them in a comprehensive way? Can we help them with their financial health? Can we help them with their physical health? Because that's also a big thing. Their social health, their spiritual health. So I'm looking at it as a comprehensive lens when I'm engaging with the entrepreneur, because you can't have that, when you're pursuing or when you're doing an entrepreneurship program, right? So,
well, that was a big piece that we started to see where, yes, we're coming at that entrepreneurship lens, like, yeah, start a business. Yeah, and we're, as the program leaders, are seeing all the benefits, but then there's so many other things that are weighing down a person's life. Like, you have to integrate their life into the plan. It can't, especially when they have kids or maybe they're working somewhere and trying to do this on the side, their time isn't the same as, the hard-nosed entrepreneur that is on TV, that is so successful and literally all they do all day, like the Elon Musk, where he's like, you have to work 120 hours on your business to be successful. That's not the reality for a lot of people. And so that's where really, like you're saying, integrating a person's life and taking the whole picture into account is super important.
Exactly. And also, I used to say, like, entrepreneurship was it's a privileged pursuit, especially when it comes for low to modest income communities, like in terms of, because they're focused on so many different things. So for me, it's looking at the person and also cooking in the cultural nuances that Black entrepreneurs go through, and really cooking it into the program design of BEA. So
love that.
Another question. Christopher says, seeing that the YSpace is a business hub, if it was in your grip, I don't know what that means. What more could YSpace do for the entrepreneur, but due to funding restriction prevents this thought? So I guess what they're saying is, what would be your dream that you haven't been able to achieve yet? What are things that you would like to offer that you're not able to due to funding? And that could be a very sensitive subject because we don't want people to. So as carefully as you can, or if you want to address that.
One thing we're trying to focus on, I think, for us is a lot of what Olu's talking to. I think it's like it gets, and I think we're seeing this in food, we're seeing this in tech, and we're seeing it across the board, is that a lot of founders get to a certain point and then it becomes it's a financial barrier, whether it's getting product, whether it's paying your developers, whether it's in the food and beverage space, to go to a manufacturer and get your minimum quantity of orders, they're asking for like 10,000, 20,000 liters, like, which you're not going to sell, and there's no way to pay that off, right? Because you got to pay it up front. So I think if financial wasn't an issue, we would love to do something where it could be an investment piece, where we're already helping you trust us. Can we do it, but at a rate? Can we be a part of your investment round? Because most of the time, that's where they'll look for investment, angel round, whatever it is. But can we be a part of that? Because then in the long run, it helps us in sustainability, to be completely honest. Because right now, everything's free. We got to sustain ourselves too. So I think from a sustainability model, if we had financials and things like that, I would love to, at a reasonable term. And we already help our companies with fundraising. So we know what they're thinking. We know the terms they want to do. If we can help them set the terms, it helps a lot to have a lead at the table. Because the other side of fundraising is when you're going out, the challenge often they have is, the angels and the funders will always be like, yeah, when you have someone who's willing to be the foot in the ground, be the first, come back. Okay, great. Well, can we be that first then? Because if that's the barrier and it's a financial barrier, can we be the first? And if we're the first, we're setting a whole set of expectations. We're setting the terms and all that. That's going to be beneficial to our entrepreneurs, and we know that. So if funding wasn't an issue, that's where I would love for us to get to be at a point where we can do investments in our company, support them a little bit further, and just get through those humps, because we know, like, over the years, we know exactly where that is. And I would say every entrepreneurs get there. Some don't, great, and that's amazing. Yep. But I would say probably 90% to 95% of them will hit that hump at a certain point, and that becomes either they're going to skyrocket or they're just going to die. So can we be that point that's going to help them skyrocket?
Good. So I got some knowledge to give me to grip. New linguistness, aka $5 word, aka grip means power. Hey. Thank you for the linguistics education today. And Christopher says, thank you for that answer. Really good. So really happy with that. Another question we have here. Living now in the 21st century, what are the gaps in entrepreneurship that you see filling in by default?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I will say this, and Olu, I know you probably have not different answer, but perspective as well. I think by default, what we're seeing is folks are jumping in and doing it because they can. And I don't think they're assessing their opportunities properly. That's the way I feel about it. I think entrepreneurship has become such a hot topic, and media has glorified it, made this amazing thing.
Yeah,
and talk about the exits, the raises,
the great resignation,
yeah, right. And and by default, what that creates is a narrative in our youth, in our communities, to say, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And this, they didn't go to school, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. But it doesn't talk about what they did do. It doesn't talk about all the failures, right? And we know this, like the stats are 99% of companies don't exist past 5 years, right? Why aren't we talking about that? And there's very little narrative around that. So I think by default, we've created this bubble and this dream of what entrepreneurship could be. And the reality of it is, and I agree with Olu, that dream 90% of the time is for the privilege, right? If you and I are coming from an immigrant family and we want to start a business, we are not going to have $250K to throw into our business. We're not going to be able to go into all the loan and financial debt because we have to help our families do part-time jobs, right? So that is not being talked about. And one of the narratives that, I know a lot of folks go, well, universities, you should be helping your students. The narrative we've been putting forward is that's one of my beliefs, because I went through that, being in debt and all that, and having a company is what I think we should do is, for our students, we should be creating opportunities for them to work for startups. That's what we should do. Because the reality of it, students need to learn how to work agilely in a startup environment. They don't need to start their company because they don't have the domain expertise. They haven't been in the industry, right? So it's very few that's going to succeed. So can we put them in a startup environment that's going to allow them to gain all the skills you want them to gain as a founder, but get the coaching, get the mentorship, go work a couple years. And then when they have the idea, now they have the skills, they have the understanding, they have the domain to actually now scale and do what they need to do appropriately. And they're going to have a little bit more financial stability as well as social stability. And I think that's where, by default, it's created this dream and amazingness that I think we all need to pull back a little bit of the curtain and say, here's the reality of it.
Yes.
And
it's a
that's
grind.
what I would like to
It's a grind.
It is.
Absolutely.
I would agree with David. I've seen so many people come to me, I want to be my own boss, but do you know what that entails? So,
right.
So you're never your own boss. Right? You have your customers. Your customers are your boss. Your board is your boss. You're never your own boss. And I think that's I always tell people, they were like, I want to be my own boss. Well, I'm like, good luck. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? But I also just seeing that, especially in those communities, underserved communities, just seeing that model. So I like the idea of working for the startups, trying to see the intricacies of the inside before saying, oh, maybe I should pursue this or not. For me, it's on that business ideation stage. I find, like, especially for local entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs, is that their decisions that they make, it's I would say is based off what they see. So it's not what is truly out there. So I would say there's a lot of folks that are in like the social service, health promotions that get into that. But there's so many other industries that you could go
to,
that's
such a big observation.
Right? So, but they don't see that, right? So they either see what's in their local communities or the Elon Musk of the world. So there's no like in between.
Yes.
Right? So yeah.
And it's really important that you notice that, because and especially like I work with youth that are coming out of detention. And so they're involved in the social system. And then, oh, I'm going to become a social worker. It's like, yeah, but dude, there's so much. Like, that isn't the only path. And again, I know a lot of times it's because they had a bad social worker or had a bad experience. So they want to be the good experience in that realm. Totally noble. But there's so many more options. And it's like, how do you just expose them to the options so that now they can actually choose? And hey, if that's the choice, great. But if they feel like it's their only choice, that's where I feel like they're limiting themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just add on to this, and I'll just be totally 100 here. Not every entrepreneur is going to make it. Facts. Sorry to say that. So if you're only doing it for yourself, you're not going to make it. You have to have the attitude of who are you doing and fighting for.
But just to add on to that, a lot of times you don't make it with your first idea. And that's where you have the resilience to keep pushing, because it might be that second or third idea that actually is the one that kicks off, but it's from all the learnings of that first idea. That
all the failures.
Right. So a lot of people get so married to their baby.
I'm speaking.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It is.
Yeah. But what I like is that, and what we provide in BEA is that, okay, hey, maybe entrepreneurship is not for you, but maybe being an entrepreneur is for you. Maybe joining the business and leadership, getting more professional skills for your career growth, working for a company, making up that ladder. So there's
opportunities. There's lots of opportunities, because you may be an entrepreneur and you say, I'm really good at this, but you know what? Your audience wants something else. So what you think you're good at and what your clients want can be two different things, family.
And also people find out what they're good at, and then they can go be that resource at another company. Because yes, I don't want to say you don't have the capability to run the whole show, but you realize you're just amazing at a certain aspect of business operations. And so the product that you're selling might not have picked up, but now those skills, you can bring that to another startup or even a enterprise, and you're like, hit the ground running. So there's, again, so many options. And that's why I love like what you two are doing with YSpace and the Black Entrepreneurship Alliance, is it just opens up people's perspectives. And I remember when I had my first mentor, that was the biggest thing that I got from the relationship, was just his perspective of my potential. It's like, you don't realize like your ability to do more than what you see on your four corners. And of course, I mean, we used to live at Shoreham, so you're like, yeah, is this it? And
there you go.
Uncles might be still there, and my grandmother, she passed away while still living there. So it becomes generational, and you don't even go to York University that is in the back. I mean, like, it's literally over the bridge.
Stay on your block, yeah.
I hadn't been there until I was in my teens. I was like, wait a minute, because we were cutting through. I was like, what the heck is this? There's a university back here. Yeah. So being that bridge, I love like what you're doing.
So as we start winding it down, because we said we'd only keep them for an hour and people want them for more than an hour, that means they have to come back. It's just some things. Tim is saying, yes, students should work in new startups before creating their own. Maxine Choi says, great conversation. Entrepreneur life is good, but it's too glamorized. And she also really good conversation weekly. So follow her. She has a great conversation about business. Christopher says, Dr. Vibe and Ryan, you're so right. And Christopher says, success is a squiggly line. Gentlemen, final comments before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. And we've enjoyed having you here. Some final things you'd like to share with us before we let you go.
I think on my end is just, we'll do a call. I know Olu did a call on a couple of things, but we're still looking for folks who are looking to get engaged. I think whether it's being a mentor, workshop facilitator, I think we're always looking to engage with folks who want to be a part of the ecosystem, who want support. There's a variety of ways to be engaged within YSpace, within Black Entrepreneurship Alliance. We always say, let's start off with a conversation. Let's just get to know each other and see where that takes. So call out is really, if you're interested in supporting entrepreneurs, through YSpace, we have women entrepreneurship programming, we have food and bev, we have tech. We'll have some other stuff that we'll be announcing, but overall, if you're looking to support, let us know. And then of course on the Black entrepreneurship side as well, with Olu and myself, if you're specifically wanting to support Black entrepreneurs within tech, investment, or food and bev, or just overall leadership, please reach out. Love to have a conversation, just to kind of get you as a part of the ecosystem that we're building out here.
Olu.
Yeah, for sure. And the same, I'm just echoing David. Please reach out to me and David, specifically for Black entrepreneurs. For me, it's creating that ecosystem. So if you have if you're a service provider that wants to support entrepreneurs, please reach out. I'm trying to create an ecosystem of Black service providers to support Black entrepreneurs in their journey. Because what we find is that in the food and tech, it's a very white space. And in terms of there's other service providers that can support our entrepreneurs. So that's a call out that we're looking for, as well as, again, I am looking for a program officer for food and beverage. So if you are good with business development, supporting entrepreneurs, please reach out. And again, just watch out for some of the initiatives that we have. And that's about it.
Well,
and lastly, just thank you, Dr. Vibe, and thank you, Ryan, for having us. I think this is an opportunity for us to share. And be candid. I love the conversation. I thought we got to be candid in some things that I can't always say. I got to say. So that was great. So thank you so much.
Maybe a call.
You have a home. You have a digital home here, and when we transition to the next phase of life, there's a physical end, and I may touch you up and see if you need any help in regards to conversations about digital media.
Oh, and one more thing, please support Black businesses. Brick and mortar,
100%.
online, do your part, right? Because we can see all the things that we want, but we don't purchase their products or their services. It's all for naught. So I would say check out Little Jamaica.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for what you have done, what you are doing, and what you will be doing. And reach out. You know where we're at. So thank you so much. Have an outstanding day. Thanks again.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, take care. Take care, Olu. There we go.
Cool.
All right. Fantastic. Great conversation that we had there today. It was real good. Wow. That was full. We could have went on for another half an hour.
Right?
People were just ramming with questions and comments. Again, thank you, family, for all of that. And some more comments we have here. Well, frequency event promotion. You said you want to be part of the YSpace family. I put up the website address, or just put YSpace in your search engine. It'll be one of the first things. Either YSpace or MySpace comes up first, believe it or not. So if you're old enough, you know
MySpace still comes up.
Yeah, it still comes up.
Wow.
Macmillan Group, great show, insightful conversation. As always,
Awesome.
Thank you for your support. Frequency again says brick and mortar and click and order. There you go. You should trademark that, man. Really, you should trademark that. That is outstanding.
I like that.
So, as always, we're doing giveaways. And you know what's getting crazy these days? We have such incredible conversation. We can't promote it as much because the conversation is so good. But we do have giveaways, and people did enter. So we're going to do it.
Solid.
And we're going to give another minute for people to... so Frequency said, already did. I'm all over that. So he did trademark that. Brick and mortar. I love it. And Tim is saying, Ryan, we should present our hospitality training program to Olu and YSpace when we have a chance. Yes, Tim Frey has an extensive background in the hospitality area. So definitely maybe, Tim, I would say reach out to David.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, reach out to David and his team, 100%. All right, so giveaways time. We're going to give you another minute, whatever platform you're watching this on. If you type in hashtag the morning vibe, press enter, and we'll enter you into the draw. I'm only going to give a minute for you to do that, and then we're going to give away. Don't matter how many people entered in. So low numbers today, so more chance to win. So let's get the giveaway tool ready. Okay. All right, should be coming up on screen. So there you go. We got 3 people entered today, folks. 3. That's it. So your chances are high. So that's why I'm saying I'm giving you another 30 seconds to type it in. And if you do it correctly, you'll actually see the entries amount go up to 4 or higher. But we'll give you another 30 seconds and we're going to start running the giveaways. We're going to, or as they say, run it back in football these days. When they want to do back-to-back champions, run it back. All right. So going to give another few seconds. Oh, and just saying, Ryan, I did not hear from you regarding my Amazon gift card.
I'll have to check if I sent it to the right email because it did get sent, but
So what I'm saying,
actually, I'll put
Angie, email back info@ACBN Canada just to make sure that Ryan has the correct address. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do the giveaway. So here we go. So what are we going to give away first?
Let's do the gift card.
Yeah, since it was just mentioned. All right. Christopher Lawrence, gift card.
Boom.
You know how to get a hold of Ryan.
Yes.
All right. Next up, what are we giving away?
The poster.
Yes. Next up, poster. Christopher, do you have a copy of the poster? If you do, if you want to keep it or gift or gift it, you tell me. Huh? I don't know. I know he hasn't won one. I know he hasn't won one, so he can confirm in the comments. And then finally, we're going to give away the calendar. Next up.
Let's see. No way.
We're gonna do that one again. Christopher already has one. I know that.
Mr. Lawrence is tipping the scales, man.
Okay, this thing is not allowing anybody else for Christopher. Are you rigging this?
Playing favorites with Facebook.
Tim Frey.
There
we go. So, Tim, what you need to do is send an email to info@Frequency Event Promotions, and they will get in contact with you in regards to getting that poster to you.
Solid. All right.
Okay. So Christopher's saying re-gift the poster. Okay, Janet, you don't see your name because you didn't you typed it in wrong. It's #TheMorningVibe. You typed in, and I didn't get a chance to mention, but you typed in the morning vibes, VYBES. It's VIBE, the morning vibes. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to type it in properly, and then you can qualify to win the post. Well, hold on a second. So Tim wants the post. Oh, it wasn't Tim. It was Christopher. Already has the poster. So you would. This is for the poster. So if we're giving you 30 seconds to type it in properly, #the morning vibe.
Cool.
And then you can enter the draw for the poster. And in fact, your chances are going to be really good because Christopher already has the poster.
Yes.
And if you don't type it in the next 30 seconds, okay, it's typed in now. All right, good.
Excellent.
All right, so
my apologies, I do have to jump, but let me know who wins. We'll send it out.
Okay, great stuff. All right, so this is for the poster. There you go, Janet. You've won the poster. You see that? There you go. So, Janet, you have won a copy of the Robert Small poster, the legacy poster. So what you need to do is you need to send an email to info@ACBN Canada. Say legacy poster winner in the comments, and Ryan will get in contact, or a member of his team will get in contact with you and send the poster out. So I am happy that we were able to get that to you today. All right, so let me just do that. Got another comment here. Let's see here. Thank you. Excellent. Fantastic. Fantastic. So what a great conversation today. So that's it. That's all, folks. What a conversation. It was epic. Again, Olu and David rocked the house. And thank you so much for being a great audience. Coming up Monday, we have one of two guests, and I wish Ron would have stayed on. I won't say. We'll have one or two guests on. I don't want to put it out there because one of them is going to come on. We had a first person who we're looking to confirm we've got a second person coming on. So we'll have a guest on Monday. I always like to say thank you, everyone, for watching live on the replay. We appreciate your support. We don't take it for granted. Tell people about us, and whatever platform you're watching this on, subscribe. Like, especially subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show Facebook and YouTube channel. You'll get notified when we have conversations coming up with that. I myself, I'll be hosting 2 more conversations between now and Monday. Tomorrow night, State of Things with Aisha K. Staggers and Jill Jones. 2 wonderful Black women giving their perspectives socially and politically of what things are going on, mostly in America, but also global things. And then Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m., I host a weekly conversation called Black Canada Talking. And I have Jennifer Holness and Sud Sutherland, longtime Black Canadian film and content producers. They have this month on the History Channel a wonderful docuseries highlighting Black Canadian history. So that's on at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to get updated and when all those conversations are happening, especially on my end, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube or Facebook, and you'll get notified when those conversations are happening. All right. So I think we're done for today. As always, I close off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. 2 last things. Remember to give yourselves grace. And I see some more comments here. So before I finish off, okay, okay. Great show. Thank you. Stay blessed. And Janet Cox, we talk about it on our Liquid Green Health show. All right. Maybe you want to come on our platform and talk about your show or health. That would be great. So 2 last things I want to say. Remember to give yourselves grace. And I'm saying a lot this to people, and they really get it. Don't manage your time. Manage your energy. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Again, thanks for your continued support. Stay safe, and we will see you 9 a.m. Eastern time Monday morning. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith, and walk good.